Warning!
You're watching Dr. Todd Lee TV, where theoretically you could learn a bunch of cool shit. Fuck this. Alright, so that completes the arm portion of the workout. This isn't a deload per se, but the 6-on 1-off isn't working anymore now that I've incorporated Eric Janicki's principles. 4 sets, 3 times a week, for instance, for quads, was very doable before. Now it is not. My right back, like my right lat, my right tricep, both quads, I've got overlapping soreness. Controlling the negative isn't the same thing as working the negative. So now that I'm working the negative, what was 4 sets is hitting me like 6. So rather than just reducing the volume and still training 6 days a week, I'm gonna cut out my Thursday workout. So yesterday was Saturday. I skipped Saturday. And today, I almost skipped today, but I wanted to shoot this content. So there's no set extenders. I'm almost resetting the logbook. Got the arm workout done. I've got an incredible pump, 5 out of 5 pump, even though it wasn't as impressive numbers wise. If I looked at my logbook, it looks like I went down. I felt it better because I'm using just as much weight. So if I'm getting 12 concentric and 12 eccentric, it's more than 19 concentric and effectively 0 eccentric. Even though I was controlling it on the way down, I wasn't fighting it on the way down. Yeah, I only got 7 reps, but I got a sick pump from them. Whereas before, if I'm doing this and then this, it's not the same thing as going up here, coming down, coming up here. Maybe that works better for you that way. And maybe in a month or 2, I'll go back to doing that. But this is what I'm doing today. Now we're gonna go on to the legs, where I'm only gonna be doing twice a week rather than 3 times a week. So instead of upper, lower, upper, lower, upper, lower, off, it's gonna go upper, lower, off, upper, lower, upper, off. So I'm still getting that's 3 times a week. I'm gonna move a little bit of biceps to my upper days. So I'm only gonna be getting triceps twice a week as opposed to 3 times a week, but all of my pressing is still triceps. So instead of me getting triceps 6 times a week, I'll be getting triceps 5 times a week. And because 4 sets of quads 3 times a week was too much, I'm gonna start with 4 sets twice a week, then I'll go to 5 sets, and if I can handle 5 sets, I'll go to 6 sets. So 6 sets twice a week is not as good as 4 sets 3 times a week, but if it allows me to have a rest day, it's worth it. So now I'm gonna go do my stretching and mobility. It's a whole nother workout. Jesus Christ, this can't get any rougher. Fuck, I count on this equipment. The Janecki pad, I actually have sore hamstrings for the first time in like 6 months. Not a big improvement, but it's an improvement. It's nice to have sore hamstrings for once. Weird, I got 17 total reps again. just in reverse. Last time it was 7-10. This time it's 10-7. I forgot what I was doing until like halfway through the set. And then I was like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to drive my hips forward. And then it was so much more quad. I have to go heavier. 16 reps was too long. I was dying from just burning quads. I go heavier, I'm afraid I'm gonna feel it in my knee and not my quad. It's this balancing act that I'm so sick of. That's 16 both sets by my count. I don't know what the tape will show, which tells me this is way too light, but I'm being defensive with my knees since this is a new technique. So I went up 25 pounds, 45 pounds. Last week was 180 for 16. This week is 205. So next week will be 270. This is making sense. 135 plus 90, 225. It was 225. So next week will be 270. Instead of doing 3 sets of hamstrings or 4 sets like here, and then all the quads, I'm gonna go back and forth from now on. I'm gonna do 2 sets of lying leg curl, 2 sets of a press, 2 sets of seated leg curl, 2 sets of leg extension. And then if I can tolerate that, as I said out there, I'll do 5. And if I can tolerate 5, I'll do 6. But legs twice a week, I think it'll work better. I saw the best results when I did legs every 5 days. 5 sets every 5 days, get the best results. When I went to twice a week legs, that's when I got hurt. Then I went to 3 times a week legs, didn't see much improvement. So I think this will be a better way of doing it. This is a really smooth leg curl. And what I found was by breaking it up, doing hamstrings, quads, it's way more productive on the second exercise, which is common sense, but I'm not losing the pump like I thought I would. My hamstrings are so fucked right now. I don't even remember what it felt like to have fucked hamstrings, but this is working so well. Joe Jeffries did an interview with Dave Tate where he was saying that 4 sets twice a week is the absolute maximum he would program a body part. I was like, the fuck? That ain't shit. I do like 9 sets 3 times a week for back, but my back sucks. So maybe 4 sets twice a week for hamstrings and quads and see where it's at. And they've done it every day. Thinking they shoved you on it right. Oh, it's pulling all the hair out. Every hair. I went way too fast in the arms. I think rather than doing the superset shit to try to rush through it, I should probably go back and just taking my time and do tricep, bicep exercises. But usually here, by the time I get here, unlike today, we're here earlier and no one's here, so the supersetting's easy. Squeeze it up rather than exploding it up, and then you fight the negative all the way down in every rep. So you can make a 20 rep set, 7 reps, and you feel it better. It's just a bitch to log it because it's so imperfect. So when you do log it, you're very disappointed a lot of the time. stretching these shoes. But on the same notion, because they're softer soles, they don't slide. I feel like I put more thought into which shoes are the right shoes for every exercise than most people put into their entire workout. They weren't perfect for the hack squat on the first set because it was almost like it was too much of a heel elevation because the semi-roller is a 3-inch heel and these have a 3-inch heel. So like it was a 6-inch heel, which if you think about it, my heel's like, so it's like this. That's what my heel is doing, but I'm driving through my heel too. So I'm not just getting quads, I'm almost getting only quads, but it's just a little bit of contact through the heel so that there's nothing on the table. Everything's gone. We're done with part 2, legs. We've done arms, we've done legs. People don't understand that posing is a workout. They think it's just some gay ballet shit. And it is. It's even gayer because you're naked. But it's still hard as fuck. And it's every bodybuilder's least favorite part, so none of us are very good at it.